That 10% dividend yield, yeah, it's a trap. Most people see a high yield and think they hit the jackpot. Meanwhile, the ETF is quietly bleeding value faster than you're collecting dividends. It's like being excited about a 50% off sale while your house is on fire. Today, I'm exposing 5 dividend ETFs with terrible track records, declining payouts, value traps, and some that don't even hold dividend stocks. These are the ones destroying retirement accounts right now. Let's go. ETF number 1, BIZD, the BDC Disaster, VanEck BDC Income ETF, BIZD. The current yield, 12.38%, down 10% in 2025. Dividend cuts expected. Well, let's start with BIZD, the VanEck BDC Income ETF. BDC stands for Business Development Company, which is finance speak for we lend money to companies that real banks won't touch. Yeah, there's a reason banks won't lend to them. BIZD has a 12.38% yield right now, which sounds amazing until you realize why it's that high. The share price is down 10% this year. The yield is high because the price is tanking. It's like bragging about getting a great deal on a car that's actively on fire. And here's the math that should scare you. And if you invested $10,000 in BIZD at the start of 2025, you collected about $1,238 in dividends, 12.38%. Awesome, right? Wrong. Your investment is now worth $9,000. You made $1,238, but lost $1,000 in value. Net gain, $238. That's a 2.38% return. You could have gotten better returns in a freaking savings account. But here's where it gets worse. According to Fitch Ratings, these are the people who actually track this stuff, 42% of industry experts say the operating environment for BDCs will be worse in 2026 than it was in 2025. Only 23% think it'll improve, and 23% said dividend cuts are the biggest concern for BDCs next year. Translation, that 12.38% yield, it's probably getting cut. You're collecting a high dividend on a sinking ship. Real talk. My buddy Will, he's 60, digital marketer, usually pretty sharp with money. He bought into a BDC fund in 2023 because 12% yields don't come around often. You know what he told me last month? JD, I should have listened when you said high yields usually mean high problems. His fund cut its dividend by 30%. And the share price dropped another 15%. He's down overall despite collecting those amazing dividends. So drop a comment below. What's the highest dividend yield you ever chased that turned out to be a disaster? And I'll go first. I once bought a stock paying 15% because I thought I was smarter than the market. Lost 40% in 6 months. The dividend didn't matter when my principal evaporated. Let me know in the comments. The fix? If you're in BIZD, seriously, consider exiting. Yeah, you'll miss that juicy yield, but you'll also avoid the dividend cut that's probably coming. And move that money into something stable like VYM or Vanguard High Dividend Yield or SCHD. Lower yield, sure, but your principal won't disappear. ETF number 2, SPYD, the Value Trap King. SPDR Portfolio S&P 500 High Dividend ETF, SPYD. Current yield, 4.53%. Lost 45% during COVID. Doubles down on losers. And SPYD is sneaky because it looks safe. It's S&P 500 companies. It's from State Street. It has a low 0.07% expense ratio. What could go wrong? Everything. Everything could go wrong. Here's how SPYD works. It takes the 80 highest yielding stocks from the S&P 500 and equally weights them. Sounds fine, except there's a huge problem. It completely ignores why those yields are high. A stock can have a high yield because it's a great company paying solid dividends, or because the share price crashed and nobody wants it anymore. SPYD doesn't care. It buys them both. During the COVID crash in February through March 2020, SPYD lost 45%. The regular S&P 500 lost 33.8%. SPYD lost 11 percentage points more than the overall market. Why? Because it was stuffed full of value traps. Companies with falling prices and inflated yields. And here's the kicker. When SPYD rebalances, it actually doubles down on the losers. And if a stock's price drops, making its yield go up, SPYD increases its position. It's like seeing a fire and deciding to throw more furniture on it. Plot twist about SPYD. Even Morningstar called out SPYD specifically for having increased exposure to value traps. That's the financial research equivalent of your doctor saying, you really need to stop doing that. My buddy James, he's 70, physicist, thinks in decades. He looked at SPYD once and said, JD, this ETF is mathematically designed to buy companies in decline. That's not a dividend strategy. That's a gamble. And you know what? He was right. This isn't investing. It's speculation with extra steps. And the fix? If you want S&P 500 dividend exposure, look at VYM or even just VOO, regular S&P 500 ETF. They have market cap weighting, which means they naturally reduce exposure to declining companies. During that same COVID crash, VYM beat SPYD by almost 11 percentage points. Same high dividend space, way better construction. ETF number 3, UDIV, not even a dividend ETF. Franklin US Core Dividend Tilt Index ETF, UDIV, current yield 1.6%. Top holdings don't pay dividends. Worst dividend ETF. Okay, this one makes me genuinely angry. UDIV calls itself a dividend tilt ETF. You know what its top holdings are? Companies that don't pay dividends. I'm not kidding. TheStreet.com literally published an article calling this the worst dividend ETF in the world. And when financial journalists are roasting you by name, that's bad. Here's UDIV's current situation. Its top 9 holdings include Amazon and Tesla. Neither pays dividends. Nvidia is a top holding with a 0.02% dividend yield. 0.02%. That's not a dividend stock. That's a rounding error. The methodology here is that UDIV just needs to have a higher overall yield than the S&P 500. Currently, S&P 500 yields 1.1% and UDIV yields 1.6%. Technically, it's above average, but calling this a dividend ETF is like calling a salad healthy because it has one cherry tomato on top of a pound of bacon. And get this, Broadcom, a UDIV holding, has a 0.68% yield. Meta and Alphabet just started paying dividends 2 years ago. These are growth stocks with dividend stickers slapped on them. This isn't a dividend strategy. It's false advertising. Living the dream, right? Wrong. Here's the reality check. You could literally just buy VTI, Total Stock Market ETF, and get better diversification, lower fees, and you wouldn't have to pretend you're buying a dividend ETF when you're clearly not. And at least VTI is honest about what it is. Fast forward to now, and UDIV has underperformed actual dividend ETFs while not even providing growth stock level returns. It's the worst of both worlds. You're not getting income and you're not getting growth. You're just losing. And the fix? Sell UDIV immediately. If you want dividends, buy SCHD or VIG, Vanguard Dividend Appreciation. If you want growth, buy VOO or QQQ. But don't buy this Frankenstein hybrid that does neither well. ETF number 4, KBWD, Mortgage REIT Nightmare, Invesco KBW High Dividend Yield Financial ETF, KBWD. Current yield, 7.37%. Expense ratio, 1.24%. Lost 50% plus during pandemic. KBWD is what happens when someone says, let's create the highest yield possible without asking, but should we? This ETF focuses on financial companies, specifically mortgage REITs. You know, those companies that borrow money to buy mortgages and then pray nothing goes wrong. Spoiler alert, things go wrong a lot. KBWD has a 7.37% yield, which is high, It also has a 1.24% expense ratio, which is insane for an ETF. You're paying $124 per year on every $10,000 invested. That's more than double what most dividend ETFs charge. You're paying premium prices for a product that regularly blows up. During the pandemic, mortgage REITs lost over 50% of their value. Some went down 60 to 70%. Why? Because when interest rates go crazy or the economy tanks, mortgage REITs get absolutely demolished. They're leveraged, they're illiquid, and they're extremely sensitive to rate changes. But here's what makes KBWD extra special. It only holds 41 stocks, and they're all in the same sector, financials. And they're all doing the same risky thing, mortgage lending. That's not diversification. That's putting all your eggs in one basket, then throwing that basket off a cliff and hoping it lands okay. And plot twist about mortgage REITs, my buddy Alan, he's 80, built a 9-figure business, survived multiple market crashes. He told me something I'll never forget. JD, leverage is great until it's not. Mortgage REITs are leveraged to the moon. When times are good, they look brilliant. When times are bad, they evaporate. And you know what? 2020 proved him right. 2023 proved him right. Every time rates shift or credit tightens, mortgage REITs get crushed. And this isn't if it'll happen again, it's when. And the fix, that 7.37% yield is not worth the risk. If you want financial sector exposure, buy VFH, Vanguard Financials ETF, or XLF, Financial Select Sector SPDR. You'll get banks, insurers, diversified financials, actual stable companies. Lower yield? Sure, but you'll sleep at night. ETF number 5, SDIV, the declining dividend. Global X SuperDividend ETF, SDIV. Current yield, 10%. Performance has lagged, declining payouts over time. Last but definitely not least, we've got SDIV, the Super Dividend ETF that's not so super anymore. SDIV holds the 100 highest yielding stocks in the world. Emphasis on world, because most of these companies you've never heard of. We're talking Yanzhou Coal, China Power International, and other names that sound like they were randomly generated by AI. The yield is 10%, which sounds incredible. But here's the problem. Both the price and the payouts have been declining over time. It's like watching someone slowly deflate. The yield looks high, but that's because the share price keeps dropping. You're earning 10% on a shrinking asset. Over the past 10 years, SDIV has returned only about 3.1% per year. Meanwhile, SCHD, a normal dividend ETF, has returned over 11% per year. You got a high yield, sure, but you missed out on 8% per year in total returns. Over 10 years, that difference is massive. And here's the math that matters. $10,000 in SDIV 10 years ago is equal to about $13,600 today. $10,000 in SCHD 10 years ago was equal to about $28,000 today. You gave up $14,400 in returns to chase that 10% yield. Was it worth it? Absolutely not. And get this, SDIV charges a 0.58% expense ratio. You're paying $58 per year on $10,000 for the privilege of owning a declining fund filled with obscure international stocks that nobody wants. It's like paying premium prices for expired milk. The fix? If you're in SDIV for the high yield, I get it, but you're sacrificing long-term wealth for short-term income. Consider moving to SCHD, VYM, or even just VOO, S&P 500. You'll earn less yield now, but your total wealth will actually grow instead of slowly dying. Remember what Alan said, high yield without growth is just money in jail. You're locked into a declining asset, collecting checks that don't make up for your capital losses. All right, so what's the right way to invest in dividend ETFs without falling into these traps? Simple. You focus on quality over yield and you diversify intelligently. And here's your action plan. Start with the foundation. Put 50% into proven low-cost dividend ETFs like SCHD, Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, or VYM, Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF. These have been around forever, have low expense ratios under 0.1%, and actually focus on dividend quality, not just yield. They screen for financial health, dividend history, and sustainability. Boring? Yes. Profitable? Also yes. Then add growth and income. Take 30% and put it into VIG, or Vanguard Dividend Appreciation ETF, or DGRO, Shares Core Dividend Growth ETF. These focus on companies that consistently raise their dividends every year. The yields are lower now, 1.5 to 2.5%, but they grow over time. This is how you beat inflation and actually build wealth. Now, diversify internationally, carefully. Put 10% into VXUS, or Vanguard Total International Stock ETF, or VEA, Vanguard Developed Markets ETF, not SDIV with its sketchy international holdings. Real international diversification through stable, developed markets. Lower yields, but actual quality companies. Keep some growth exposure. Use 10% for VOO, S&P 500, or QQQ, NASDAQ 100. Not everything needs to be dividend focused. Growth stocks provide capital appreciation that dividend stocks often can't match. Balance is key. And here's the crucial part. Check your holdings. Don't just look at yield. Check. Is the dividend growing or shrinking? Is the share price stable or declining? What's the expense ratio? And what actually is in this fund? If an ETF promises double-digit yields, ask yourself why. High yields aren't magic. They're usually a warning sign. Your future self will thank you. Your present self might be disappointed by only 3 to 4% yields, but that's reality. Real wealth compounds slowly through sustainable dividends plus price appreciation. Get rich quick schemes get you get poor fast results. Look, I get it. Seeing a 10% or 12% yield is tempting. It feels like free money. It's not. But chasing yields without looking at fundamentals doesn't make you rich. It makes you poor slowly while thinking you're being smart. That's worse. So stop being a yield chaser, gambling with your retirement. Be a quality focused investor building actual wealth. Okay, that metaphor didn't land, but you get the point. Just avoid these 5 garbage dividend ETFs and buy quality funds like SCHD or VYM and actually build wealth that lasts. Future you will thank you. Current you might be bored by 3.5% yields, but that's what discipline looks like. And if you want to learn more about personal finance, check out my other video. And if you're currently invested in any of these 5 disasters, seriously, consider selling. Now, stop watching YouTube and go check your portfolio. Peace be with you, and may your dividends be sustainable and your yields be honest.